While traversing Tarkov, you'll come across loads of filing cabinets. Generally, these go overlooked after a week or two into a new wipe. As a player who's neglected them in my time playing, I wondered if this was value I was missing out on. With this in mind, I decided to test if they were actually worth looting. How far into the sea of tape would I have to dive to find valuables such as diaries, flash drives, and SAS drives? I recently watched a video while doing research for this experiment where Pesley looted over 100 filing cabinets. Although at the time this video provided very valuable information, I found that it seemed outdated now that more valuable items can be found in filing cabinets. First off, I do just want to go over kind of the rules that I set myself to follow. I followed the same rules that Pesley provided in his video. Essentially, one drawer is not an entire cabinet. You had to loot all 4 drawers to count it as a filing cabinet. I didn't feel that a single drawer gave you an accurate representation of a drop chance when you could spend a minute more hitting 3 more drawers to get a larger pool of drops. For this experiment, I focused on getting as many filing cabinets in one raid as possible. If it seemed like any cabinets in that area had been looted, I did not count them towards my total of 1,000. I did not do any scav runs to ensure that I was able to guarantee something was unlooted. If even one cabinet was touching an area, it disqualified the entire area from being looted. For example, if one filing cabinet in a building was looted, it disqualified the entire building unless the other filing cabinets were behind locked doors. I completed most of these raids at night on reserve because it gave me the best chance to get as many filing cabinets as possible with the lowest risk of dying, causing the process to become more lengthy. Every time that I died, it added 10 minutes to this process, so avoiding dying was critical here. If I died during a cabinet, I did not count the cabinet or any of the items I looted out of it. Firstly, my thought that many filing cabinets go unlooted was correct. I had multiple raids during the day and night where I looted all 65 filing cabinets on reserve, and many raids where I only found 1 or 2 looted. As you can see here on screen, I have all of the items that I found, how many of them I found, the percentage of drop that I got from them off of the 1,000 filing cabinets, and finally I have what those values were per slot on each item. The primary items that I was picking up that I really wanted to emphasize here were the green batteries, power banks, rechargeable batteries, KEK tape, the LCDs, diaries, flash drives, SAS drives, the SSDs, the Nixor lenses, the G-Phone X's, and the slim diaries. All of those items were the best items to be picking up throughout the runs. And many of those items could be stacked in a docs case, so that added extra value as well. You can see that a lot of these keys actually have, decent drop rates. And as long as you're looting filing cabinets, especially early in the wipe, these keys can be worth quite a bit of money. Now, granted, here, they're not usually worth that much. However, you might be able to, throw a key tool into your secure container and just throw these keys on there and just sell them at the end of the raid. Run a key tool with a few keys that you do have from reserve and just empty it of all the keys that you find in raid. Run a docs case on the side, pick up all the items that fit in the docs case, like the diaries, the flash drives, the SAS drives, the slim diaries. Just throw all of those into your docs case, and then when you get out, empty it and sell them. You could go in with a pistol and a secure container with a key tool and a docs case, and you could just fill that sucker up looting these filing cabinets. That would give you plenty of money, and it's guaranteed money because you don't even have to get out of the raid if you're putting it in your docs case and your secure container. The most impressive items here that you'll find are going to be the flash drives and the SAS drives and the SSDs. Those are the items that you're getting the most per slot. If you see them, they're worth picking up. The drop percentage for them really isn't that terrible. You do have to loot quite a bit, but you can get them pretty consistently. The Nixor lenses on here, I actually caught them at a really good time when I did this, and I sold them all for about 30,000 each. You can sell them to traders for about 15,000, but you can get that value up to 30,000. I've seen it happen multiple times. I've sold them at 30,000 at peak times a day, multiple different times. A few things that you can mention that are decent: the regular G phones, not the G Phone X's, but the regular G phones. And then occasionally some of the tapes will go up and down. So a lot of times you can get some decent money off of the tapes. Other than that, some of the ES lamps, the light bulbs, some of those are pretty good as well. You just got to hit them at the right time of day, or just take them and sell them straight to the trader. Don't even worry about what their value is on the market. It's consistent money and it's uncontested. So it's really easy money to grab here. So the items that also had pretty decent value, but decently high drop chances as well. The ones I made note of here were the rechargeable battery, as well as the diary, the G phone, and the Nixor lenses. All those had decently high drop chances for the value that you get off of them per slot. All of the others, you know, they're pretty consistent. They're all around 3% drop chance, which is really isn't that terrible. The SSDs are a little bit lower from my experience, but other than that, the more valuable items that you're going to be looking for, that you're going to get more often, you're going to see those Nixors, the rechargeable batteries, and then the diary. You're going to want to be grabbing those as often as you can when you see them. So the average amount of profit that I calculated you could make per filing cabinet off of all of the items. This is if you're taking every single item. We're not counting only the valuable items, anything like that. If you picked up every item, you would make about 34,000 rubles per filing cabinet. That's calculating that, you know, you should be getting decent value every filing cabinet. Now, if you were to be leaving items, you can still get that value out of, you know, 2 out of every 5 filing cabinets or so. If you're looting 5 filing cabinets, 2 out of 5 times you're going to find a valuable item. If for whatever reason you're not, if you keep looting, that value is going to come back. I had multiple times where I would go an entire raid and not find a single thing that was decent. Then the next raid, I'd literally find 4 flash drives, 3 SSDs, multiple different items. We had multiple raids where I actually found so many flash drives, I could not keep them all. I had to give them to other people who were playing with me. The other item is if you're only picking up the valuable items, you're going to get about 12,000 rubles per filing cabinet. But what that means is you're probably getting, you know, 1 and 2, 1 and 3. You're going to get an item that falls right underneath that range of really, really valuable items, which is going to be like those rec batteries, those things that are just underneath it that kind of don't hit that per slot that you'd like to see, but that are still pretty decent that you can at least throw in your bag and fill. If you're not going to do like a full raid, you just want to get in, get out, make some money, you can throw those kinds of items in your bag and go ahead and leave with whatever you've got. Now, with getting valuable items about every 2 out of every 5 filing cabinets, you end up making quite a bit of money if you're just looting as many filing cabinets as you can as you go through the map. You know, you loot a building, it's got 3 or 4 filing cabinets. You can just hit them while you're there. It really doesn't take long if you use the right technique where you kind of hit one, go ahead and move your camera to the next one, hit that one, move your camera next to the next one down. You can actually grind through them very, very quickly. In general, pre-flea market, this allows you to create an easy to count on and consistent income that you don't have to worry about contesting people for, really. Post-flea market, many of these items can still be more expensive on the flea market, or if they're not, a lot of them provide really, really high level barters that are good options for backfilling when you're just getting ready to leave a raid. As I mentioned before, in addition to being really good items to just pick up in general, a lot of the items can also be stacked in a docs case. So, you know, if you're on a scav raid or something like that and you're looting these filing cabinets, you can just throw them in your bag. But if you're on a PMC run, I really, really encourage you to invest in a docs case and keep that in your secure container and just throw as many of those items as you can. If you're not sure if it goes, pull it down there, see if it'll fit in there. Not only does this give you guaranteed income, so if you brought only a pistol, you pick up 1 diary, you've paid for the pistol, and multiple pistols at that. But not only that, it's guaranteed income, and if you die, it doesn't matter because you have that item in your secure container, and those items can then be sold to traders for more than probably the gear you were wearing. If you got an empty docs case and you fill that up, you're definitely going to have more than what you wore in unless you're running like some pretty hefty gear. You can still make a significant amount of money off of this in just one raid. Even if you had bare bones nothing and you just picked something up and threw a docs case in your container, you could go back into a pretty juicy raid with just one raid with some pretty decent drops. Now, granted, some raids you won't get those drops. Sometimes you'll have to run 2 before you get the drop rates that you need. But it's all about how many you loot. The more you loot, the more valuable items you're going to get out of it. The best thing about filing cabinets is that they're easy and uncontested money on most maps, especially on reserve. Like I said, I literally looted all 65 filing cabinets on the map multiple times. Now, some of those filing cabinets are in contested areas, but the filing cabinets themselves are not contested. So if you can get near them and wait for the people to leave, you can still go down there and loot those filing cabinets for free. They're gonna be left almost every single time. Many of the locked doors on reserve, you know, they have an intelligence spawn or something like that. A lot of people will go unlock them, check the intelligence spawn, and leave. They won't even loot the filing cabinets, and lots of them have 2, 3. I've even seen 4 behind multiple of the doors. In addition to this, you can be running the safes as you run through them. If you have the key up by the Queen Dome building, there's actually 3 safes right there in those 2 guardhouses. So if you're running that as well and you're running like a sick case or something like that, you can throw some of that money or some of those Bitcoins, GP coins that you get out of that into your sick case as well. There's lots of valuables that you can get out of that you can throw into a sick case. What I really like to run is a SICK case, a key tool, as well as a docs case. If you're really getting a lot of drops, you can run multiple docs cases. There were a lot of raids where I actually filled up a whole docs case and was throwing extra items into my bag. I will in the future be making a video about the specific drop percentages on the quest items for you. You can see them on screen just like I provided, but just to get a little bit more information on those. However, I do want to mention one of the barters, even though we're going to go into that on another video as well. Since this video is kind of geared towards the money making side of it and how much money you can make off of it, I do have to mention this barter because of the amount of money that you can make off of it. While you're grinding for flash drives, if you're finding extra flash drives after you finish past that, you get past those initial 5 that you need, every 3 flash drives is a dog tags case barter to Jaeger. Now that dog tags case sells for anywhere from around 170,000 rubles to around 195,000 rubles, depending on the trader that you sell them to. Now, if you're trying to push for your trader rep as well, this is essentially 200,000 rubles of free rep, free money spent with that trader. So if you're getting extra flash drives, you unlock this trade at Jaeger level 1. All you got to do is one mechanic task. Go find Jaeger's camp, bring it back to mechanic, do that task. You immediately unlock Jaeger. You have this dog tax case barter. Immediately you can turn in flash drives, get a dog tax case to keep, and then everyone after that you can sell. You can abuse this like crazy because you can find about 3 flash drives every time that there's a reset. Now, I'm not talking that it's a lot of money per hour, but to supplement your other runs, it's great money to do this trade as you find the flash drives. Flash drives can also show up in the safes. So checking those safes, you might be able to throw an extra flash drive that kind of gets you over the line there, that gets you that barter. So check everything you can, especially the front of computers and things like that. A lot of the filing cabinets on reserve actually also have computers next to them somewhere. You can check the front, see if you can get an extra one. Saves you a lot more looting on the file. Overall, through this entire experiment, the conclusion I came to, and that you're probably going to come to as well, is that it's all about the quantity of filing cabinets that you loot. The more you loot, the more opportunities you have to hit those loot pools of those higher items. If you're only going to loot one filing cabinet, it's just not worth it. It's all about how many you loot, because the drop percentages on those higher items are pretty low. But if you loot all the filing cabinets you come across, they will always come back around. They will always come back around. As long as you're hitting all of them, you're always going to end up getting 3-4 diaries out of one filing cabinet because the 10 you did before didn't have anything. Although filing cabinets aren't guaranteed loot on your first search, they're consistent, they're abundant, and they're uncontested. Most of them are in areas that are sparsely visited and can be quickly looted with the technique that I mentioned earlier. Let me know down below if you think filing cabinets are or are not worth it. Let me know if you'd like me to do more experiments like this with different lootables or maybe different locations. Drop a like if you like the information and subscribe for more videos like this from me.